What if I told you an entire generation is about to experience Michael Jackson for the very first time? Not through blurry YouTube clips, not through TikTok edits, and not through stories that sound almost exaggerated, but the way the world experienced him. Live, loud, and larger than life. Because on April 24th, something changes. Not just for fans, but for music history itself. Think about this for a second. If you're under 25, you never truly lived through Michael Jackson. You never felt the tension before he stepped on stage, never saw entire stadiums lose control, never watched the world literally stop just because one man walked out. You only know fragments. A moonwalk clip, a viral sound, a few seconds of Thriller, maybe your parents telling you you had to be there. But here's the crazy part. Even with just those fragments, he's still everywhere. Billions of streams across platforms, endless viral moments, a legacy that refuses to fade. So what happens when that same generation finally gets the full experience? Let's put this into perspective. Michael Jackson passed away in 2009. That means someone who is 20 years old today was only around 5 when he died. Barely old enough to form lasting memories and certainly too young to understand the cultural earthquake he represented. They didn't see the impact of Thriller as it unfolded in real times. They didn't watch the Motown 25 performance live, when the moonwalk became more than a move and turned into a cultural reference point. They didn't experience the global chaos that accompanied each tour announcement, each televised performance, each moment when the world collectively leaned in. Instead, they inherited compressed history, short clips, low-quality footage, secondhand reactions, and the kind of nostalgia that arrives without context. It's like trying to understand a thunderstorm by watching a 5-second video of lightning. You're seeing it, but you're not feeling it. And yet, despite all of that, he never disappeared. Billie Jean still sounds modern, built on a rhythm and production instinct that feels timeless. Thriller still goes viral every single year, not because it's a relic, but because it's a masterclass in how music, choreography, and visual storytelling can fuse into something permanent. The moonwalk still spreads across the internet like it just happened yesterday. Why? Because greatness doesn't age. It just waits to be rediscovered. And that's exactly where this upcoming film enters the conversation. The biopic Michael is scheduled for release on April 24, 2026, and it arrives at a moment when audiences are hungry for substance. In an era dominated by quick edits and algorithmic attention, there's a growing appetite for long-form experiences that demand patient stories that reward viewers with depth, craft, and emotional truth. Michael isn't being positioned as just another Hollywood project. It's being built as an experience, a full-scale attempt to recreate what most people today have never truly felt. The team behind it signals seriousness and intent. Director Antoine Fuqua is known for intensity, realism, and a grounded visual style that doesn't romanticize history, it reconstructs it. His work often carries a sense of immediacy, which matters when you're trying to capture the pressure, the stakes, and the electricity of live performance. Producer Graham King brings a track record of turning iconic musical lives into films that resonate with both fans and newcomers. King was a key force behind Bohemian Rhapsody, a movie that didn't just succeed commercially, it revived an entire band's legacy overnight, introducing Freddie Mercury's story to audiences who thought they already knew it. Now imagine that same blueprint applied to the biggest entertainer in history. The blueprint is clear. Respect the music, respect the human being, and build a cinematic world that makes the legend feel present again. But the most surprising decision wasn't the budget or the director. It was the casting. Instead of choosing a familiar Hollywood name designed for marquee value, the filmmakers selected Jaafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's real-life nephew. That choice changes everything, because this isn't just acting anymore, it's personal. Jaafar didn't study Michael from a distance. He grew up around his legacy. He understands the pressure, the expectations, the shadow of greatness that follows a family name into every room. When the first footage dropped, the reaction wasn't polite interest, it was shock. Viewers described it as uncanny. Not someone playing Michael, but something closer to Michael being back on screen. In a medium where impersonation often feels thin, this felt grounded. And that authenticity is exactly what a new generation needs to cross the gap between clips and reality. Now let's talk about the real reason this movie is going to explode: the music. Because at the end of the day, no matter what people debate about the man, Michael Jackson's catalog is untouchable. His songs aren't just hits, they're cultural infrastructure. Beat It, Smooth Criminal, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, Bad Dangerous, Off the Wall. These aren't nostalgic artifacts. They're living records of how pop, funk, rock, and soul can collide into something that feels urgent even decades later. This film understands that perfectly. We're not just getting the biggest hits in a parade of greatest moments. The production is positioned to treat the music as the spine of the story. There's also credible discussion around the possibility of including unreleased material associated with the Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous eras. Think about that. New Michael Jackson music potentially heard in a major film in 2026. That alone is powerful enough to shake the entire music industry. And it's exactly the kind of detail that will make younger audiences stop scrolling and start listening. But the real magic lies in the moments. The ones that feel almost mythical today. The first moonwalk. The Thriller video premiere. The Jackson 5 performances that launched a revolution before anyone called it a revolution. These aren't just performances, they're cultural turning points. They're moments when music stopped being background noise and became a shared experience. This film is rebuilding all of them from the ground up, with a massive budget and cinematic detail designed to make audiences feel what it was like to witness history as it happened. For older fans, this will feel like stepping back in time, like reopening a door they thought had closed. For younger viewers, it will feel like discovering something they've only ever heard rumors about. And here's where the story gets even more compelling. Michael Jackson's influence isn't confined to his own discography. His approach to performance precision, spectacle, narrative, choreography reshaped how the world thinks about what an artist can be. He blurred the lines between musician, dancer, filmmaker, and cultural icon. Modern pop stars Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, Rihanna, Usher, and countless others carry DNA from Jackson's blueprint. Even the idea of the music video as art owes enormous credit to Thriller, Billie Jean, and Bad. So when a new generation finally experiences the full arc his early years, his rise, his creative peak, and the pressures that came with being the most famous person alive, they won't just be learning about Michael Jackson. They'll be learning about the foundation of modern pop culture. Of course, any serious exploration of Michael Jackson has to acknowledge complexity. His life was marked by extraordinary highs and intense scrutiny. The film enters a landscape where public perception is shaped by decades of headlines, controversies, and polarized opinions. A responsible biopic doesn't ignore difficult topics. It places them in context. How fame, childhood trauma, relentless media attention, and the machinery of celebrity can shape a person's choices and relationships. That's not a side note. It's part of the human story. And it's also why authenticity matters. If the movie can balance celebration with honesty, it has the chance to do something rare. Deepen understanding rather than flatten it into a slogan. So why does this matter right now in 2026? Because we're at a cultural inflection point. Streaming has made access easier than ever, but it has also made attention shorter. The danger is that history becomes a highlight reel surface level, decontextualized, and easily misinterpreted. Michael arrives as a counterforce, a long-form experience designed to restore context. It's a chance for a generation raised on clips to finally understand what it meant when the world stopped and watched one man change the rules. It's a chance for older fans to see their memories honored with the scale and care they deserve. And it's a chance for music itself to reclaim its power, not as background, not as content, but as a shared, immersive experience. Here's the question that keeps the curiosity alive until the very end. What happens when a generation that only knows Michael Jackson through fragments finally sees the whole picture? Will they understand why stadiums shook? Will they feel why the moonwalk became a legend? Will they recognize the blueprint behind modern pop and see it wasn't invented yesterday, but built over years of relentless craft, discipline, and vision? The film won't answer every question, but it will finally give audiences something they've been missing. The full experience, the real scale, the real stakes, the real reason he became immortal. Because sometimes history doesn't just repeat itself, it re-enters the room. And when it does, it changes how we hear the music forever. So the next time you hear Billie Jean, or see that iconic silhouette, ask yourself, are you watching a clip, or are you witnessing the beginning of something you never truly understood? If this story made you feel even a little closer to the truth behind the legend, hit that subscribe button. Because the most important stories in music aren't just about songs, they're about what those songs made people feel. And we're just getting started exploring them. Next time, we'll dive into another cultural turning point, another moment when the world changed and music made it happen. See you then.